Welcome to In Real Time, the sassy, no-filter podcast where we catch founders mid-pivot, mid-meltdown, and mid-magic. No polished stories, just raw, in-the-moment conversation about what it really takes to build something that matters. This is business, uncut, unpredictable, and happening in real time. If you already love the podcast, I would love to ask you to give us a follow, share this episode, and leave us a review, as it helps me to continue bringing incredible guests and episodes straight to you. Now let's get into it. My queens, welcome back to In Real Time, back at home, back in Burleigh at my favorite studio. After being away, doing a solo ep, whoa, we have so much to talk about, so much to catch up on. I actually don't even really know where to start is the answer to my brain, but there is so much that's happened in the business landscape. There's so much that I want to talk about. So much advice I want to give, so much conversation I want to have, because I feel like at the moment we are all in the same boat. Business at the moment has been, I don't want to say hard, because I feel like it's just always giving a negative connotation, but it has just been an experience, I want to say. So let's just catch up from the start. Firstly, I will say I went on a working holiday. I went to Barcelona, I went to London, and I went to New York. You guys would have heard my episodes from overseas. I interviewed Zara in London, which was just the most phenomenal episode. We've actually became good friends after that, and I just love her to death. Then we had Lily, and we had Mads in New York. And something I will say is doing those podcasts over in New York was just what I needed for my inspiration, my vibes, everything. I was just this is it. New York is just full of incredible, especially Aussie founders who are just doing really, really cool things. And I feel it was just amazing to be there, amazing to be a part of it, amazing to talk to the girls. Actually, as we're recording this, Soph's new brand has just launched, So Topical. Incredible face masks. I just bought my own. Jump on. If you haven't gone and had a look at her new brand, please do. It looks fucking incredible. Just love it. Love, 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 love. But I thought we could start with a general update. So I guess for me, I went over there for a few reasons: to connect with other people, to just suss out the idea of potentially how we're going to grow Kaarme over in New York. If you know me personally, you know that New York is somewhere that I absolutely love. I think if I didn't have a dog and the business was a little bit more independent of me, I would 100% move over there for at least a year. It's just a big financial decision. I think I get a bit scared too, because I really am a water baby. I love the ocean. I love the Gold Coast. But I do feel this time, I'm not going to lie, when I lived there and I was coming home, I was so ready to come home. This time I was oh, I'm not ready yet. And I was sitting in the taxi and I was going to the airport and I was really oh my God, I just don't feel like I'm ready to leave. And that was a bit of a hard one, I'm not going to lie. Definitely struggled, but we're back home. We had a great time. I met so many incredible people. I went to an amazing conference. It was a fashion conference, but everything applies, and I want to share some main learnings that I had from that. I also want to share some things that are happening in the world at the moment. I want to give a Kaarme update. I want to give a podcast update. I want to chit chat about all the things. I was also end of financial year. A million things. So let's get into it first. Let's chat my experience being over there, business, the conference, everything. I actually have a close friends list, which I really should have done on In Real Time. I think it would have been way more impactful, but I didn't. So anyways, that's fine. Here we are now. I might actually start one, because I think I did 50 debriefs of this conference. But I got to New York and I was invited by one of my other girlfriends, Lily, who you would have heard on the podcast. And she was come to this conference. It'll be really good. I was yeah, why not? So I went. It was more or less an AI conference. So there were pop-ups of brands who are building really cool things with AI, AI wardrobe, things for the back end of your website, just super sick stuff. And then there were hot seats all day. So there were hot seats with literally everyone and anyone from all popular brands over there. There were so many hot seats. So there was the CMO of The Real. There were people there from Depop. There were, they were literally everywhere. And what it was with these panels, and they had someone asking questions, and they kind of spoke together, and they went back and forward. They spoke about consumers at the moment. They spoke about behavior, marketing, growing, what it's going to look like in the next few years. So many things. And I literally sat there and I just absorbed and absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. From that, there are a few things I kind of learned. Number one is that AI, and I am not against AI, I'm getting a bit better at using it. I'm getting a bit better at putting it in my everyday life. AI will never take over what you are doing as a founder. Now, when I say that, I mean like AI will never be you. One of the overarching conversations that continue to come up the whole day is that humans as a whole are craving connection. You know, there's all this talk about like the male loneliness epidemic and how most women are single and all this stuff. And there really is a craving for human connection in every single aspect of life. When I say this, I feel like when I was there sitting there, I was like, okay, this validates how I'm feeling. Because back home, like back here, I think Kaarme is Kaarme because of the amount of connection we give, what I give my customers, what the team give, like how much we care. And I have a lot of people sometimes being like, you know, step back or don't do it as much. And I find that really difficult because I'm like, but I always want Kaarme to feel like you're buying from someone. You're investing in something. We're doing more than just selling jewelry. So for me, that was really good. A lot of conversations came up about employee-generated content, user-generated content, everything like that. And for me, the most interesting one was coming back to, once again, just the real human connection. So obviously we see incredible brands on social media that build out incredible TikToks that, you know, are funny, hilarious. Like there's so many, I could name them all. What they were talking about was like character building. This is something that I think all brands do and most people listening to this would know. But for example, like at Kaarme, there's me, Tegan, and then the team are somewhat in the content if they want to be in the content, but me and Tegan are those main two characters. What they were speaking about is just repetition, doing the same thing, showing up, allowing your customers and consumers and your community to feel safe in the repetition and what they're going to get. That was number one. And I think for me, and if you're listening to this, I think we just need to come back to, honestly, that connection is everything. Like literally everything. And without connection, like what are we doing? That was number one. Number two came down to something really interesting that I wanted to touch on. And that was how much at one point they had the Real, Depop, and two more like vintage high-end resellers on a panel. And they were all talking about like, you know, the future of the world and everything like that and blah, 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 blah. And I think the conversation was coming back to constantly like this limited edition world. At Kaarme, we've always done that. We've always had like limited edition pre-order, limited edition necklaces. And I don't think I had a plan for that to be a form of marketing, but it fell into being a form of marketing. And they spoke about it really well. And that is that if people, for example, like Hermes, right? 99% of humans back in the day couldn't afford that. Whereas now, a lot more people are getting their hands on Hermes and we see it online and that kind of wealth and, you know, people invest in those kind of things. It is moving what I guess is doable for people and I guess taking away that scarcity of like, you can't have this, you know? That's why everyone wants it. So I think if you are, how I've taken it is like, it's really good, but you've got to have both. You need to have accessibility to product every day, like your best sellers, then add on your limited edition is kind of how I have taken that information. Something else from that I think is really important is making sure that if you are a founder-led brand or founder-led content, that we're talking about our fucking product. I am really bad at this sometimes, especially on my personal. I just post on my personal, like my stuff, my life, my monthly favorites, like day in the lives. And there was a content specialist on and he was saying like, you know, if someone comes to your personal TikTok and they can't tell within like 3 videos that you own a brand, like you're doing it wrong. And for me, that was really interesting because I always thought it was the opposite. I thought like, they can come to my page, they can know that I'm a founder, but they don't need to know exactly what I'm doing. And it's like a little bit of like a different place for me to be and me to show up and have a bit more creative freedom. But in reality, that's different. I think over there, everyone is building personal brands off their original brand. That was really good. New York also taught me a lot about connection. I think we obviously have tall poppy syndrome in Australia. And I think a lot of people have got different opinions on this. I was speaking to someone else recently who doesn't agree with that. I really think that people who suffer from tall poppy syndrome don't want to give information, so they don't get. I had a problem at the start of my business when I was very, very small, but I now will share anything with anyone. I think it's an interesting kind of place to be. Something I was thinking of recently was like reflecting myself on who have I asked information from that hasn't given it to me, and have I provided them anything? And I'm not saying it's tit for tat, but I do think, and I spoke to Laura about this, the founder of King Asilla, when she came on. Sometimes I do think that we ask a lot of people without kind of knowing what we can provide them back. And sometimes it does have to be a little bit transactional in terms of like, are you a soundboard? Are you the same level as me? Can we connect with manufacturers? Can we connect with knowledge or support? I really feel like going at things the right way. When I was over in New York and we were at this conference, I met so many incredible people that were so willing to like put me in contact with this person or share this PR agency or this article or this person or whatever. But I had so much Kaarme on me, and I shared mine first before they came to me. It's not, I would have still given them Kaarme because that was the whole point of going over, was to take my jewelry, get it in the hands of the right people. But it was more of like, I've really enjoyed this interaction. Thank you so much for your time. Here's some Kaarme. Then they provided back to me. And I think over there, people are just well connected. Business is a forefront. I think over here, I wouldn't say that tall poppy syndrome is something that I have massively dealt with, but what I have dealt with is a lot of people being like, do less, relax, enjoy the process, stop working so hard, like all this stuff, which is also fine in itself. But over there, if you're building, and it's just accepted. It's accepted by your friends, your family, colleagues, people, and it's accepted to just really work hard, build what you want to build, and then do what you want to do. So for me, I'm completely riffing. This podcast might be the most random thing anyone's listened to, which is so unbelievably fine. If it is, YOLO. I've had my second coffee for the day. That was another thing. Have something to provide, whether it's your product, whether it's knowledge, a connection. Like, make sure that you have something. If you are brand new, it can literally just be listening. Like, be an active listener, really care about what that person's saying. My experience in New York is just that it's an opportunistic country. So, for example, I had Kaarme in my bag all times. We ran into people that I knew from social media. We handed Kaarme out. I went and bought a dress from Odd Muse. I handed Kaarme out. It's very opportunistic in terms of like there's more opportunity to meet people who can get you in the right rooms, who can do the things. And don't get me wrong, I think something I also want to point out is running before you walk. When I say this, I want everyone to listen to me very carefully. I don't mean running before you crawl, running before you walk. So there's literally zero point of going overseas or doing something random like what I did if you don't even have any foundations. It's a complete waste. Whereas I'm going overseas when I have a warehouse, I have my girls, I have an incredibly solid team. We're growing, we're profitable. We have the space that if I was to have given out a necklace over there that popped off in my business 10x'd in one day, we could do it. Does this make sense? I've worked up to this, We've worked really hard with our manufacturers. We've worked really hard with our staff. We've worked really hard getting other product, other options. We have not ran before we've crawled. We have crawled and then, we haven't ran before we've crawled. We've ran before we've walked. So we were already fucking like kind of going, if that makes sense. I've made that really quite convoluted, honestly. And this is kind of what I've seen. People doing things too early, but then also people doing things too late. And I think one thing with my personality, which I do love, is I'm willing to just give anything a go. I'm willing to spend the money. I'm willing to go over there. I'm willing to meet the people, do the things, hand Kaarme out, just before we're probably ready. Just before we're at a stage where, we don't have all the foundations. And I want to run through some like structural foundations at Kaarme that we're building out. So at the moment, we have our queenies downstairs, my gorgeous beaters, my queens, and it brings a smile to my face because I think we've just hit this beautiful sweet spot of like the same team that we've just had for so long now. And when I was in New York, I just had a moment where I thought, how lucky am I? Like, how lucky am I that I've been able to come over here for work, know that Kat's got it, the team have got it. Even Georgie was away, so it was extra stress. Even though there was stress and things went wrong, and we'll talk about that when I reflect on our end of financial year sale, but so many things. And I just thought, I am so lucky to have this. I'm so lucky that I've been able to come over here, do this, be in it. My queens back home are working their asses off, beating. Kat's in there every 5 seconds. Things are going wrong. It's a disaster, but we've been able to do it. And I just had a real moment of like, I'm so proud because the only way that is possible is by everyone in that team seeing the dream. Everyone in that team knowing that I'm overseas hustling and working my ass off. Everyone in that team loving Kaarme and wanting Kaarme to grow. And I just had a moment where I just thought, God, I feel just so lucky. And like, yes, I've worked really hard and, everything, but I just thought I really am lucky. And I'm so grateful for what we've built. But that was number one. I also think for me, I was just being over there, feeling into it, seeing what we want that to look like. Obviously, the absolute end goal, guys, is a shop in Soho or NoHo, Lower East area. That is like the absolute goal. I was walking up, I think it's Elizabeth Street, and Millie Savage is there, and Status Anxiety, and Aloha's, and all these brands. And I just thought one day it'll happen. It is minimum 20,000 USD for a shop there though. So let's all manifest. I'm unsure if and when that day will come, or it will eventually come, but wild. But that is the dream. I would love that. And I have like visions sometimes of like, when I have my own children, taking them to that shop and being like, this was just the biggest goal ever. But it's really good to put yourself in the rooms before you're really ready. And something I found back home was that I am so lucky to be surrounded by some fucking awesome women, and I do not take that for granted. I do not take for granted the women that put me in the rooms with them, even though I'm the baby. I do not take for granted the women that, invite me to things and answer their phone and give me their knowledge, even though I'm the baby and I have very little to offer them. I do not take that for granted. I think that is one of the most important things, and all I can do in those situations is just say thank you so much. Like, I want you to know I can completely acknowledge this and I'm so grateful, because that to me is everything. So that was kind of my New York trip. The pros out of it were that we've actually had great outreach. So I think for us, we've been really working on trying to grow in terms of influencers or content creators over in New York that match. Something I learned over there is that if you don't have like a Shop My, a collabs, anything like in terms of affiliate, the overwhelming consensus is that it's more or less really hard to grow with content creators, which I completely respect. Shop My, I think, is $2,500 USD a month. So right now for where we are, it's not impossible to do. We could definitely do it, but are we at a point right this very second where we need it? Probably not. We use an app on Shopify called Collabs for Australia. That does well. The queens and I also love that because the queens who already share Kaarme constantly get something out of it. So I do love that. It's something that we have our eye on. So if you're at that stage where you're growing overseas, you're building, and you want to kind of know what platform they're all on, it's Shop My. From my understanding is that you will sign up to Shop My, you pay your monthly fee, then you get their address, you get their contact details, you can send them like their affiliate code, it all works out. So I feel like if you're paying a PR agency to be doing outreach and get you addresses, it probably works, if that makes sense. So that's just a little tidbit. I don't know if anyone's there. If you use it, let me know. I would love to talk to anyone that's used it. What's my next little takeaway? Get in the right rooms, shut up and listen, the things that I already talk about on a daily basis. And I would just say, something I do want to talk about is just please, 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 please. If you were in business and you were starting, I really want you to understand how important the first 5 seconds of meeting someone is. That is the gold of your currency of who you are. I think people forget this. It tends to happen the bigger you get, the more success you get. But please never forget, everyone's just human, and your first 3 to 5 seconds meeting someone in the flesh, that sets the tone for who they think you are. The way you speak, how open your body language is, how, not even like it's got to be fake. Be you, but be completely you. Be open, be, kind, be warm, like all these things that I just think people forget the bigger they get. Very important. We're going to pivot now because now I'm back. I want to reflect on our end of financial year sale. I want to reflect on just Kaarme, where we're at and what we're doing. So let me just do the Kaarme thing. So more or less coming home, I had this feeling on the plane I was coming home and I was like, my whole life I feel like is just about to change, pivot, be different. I couldn't really tell you what, but I had this overwhelming feeling and I was like, wow, okay, strap the fuck in. So I've come back. I'm moving, which is just random. If you guys don't know, I got broken into a few months ago. It was a bit of an ordeal. I'm moving into a beautiful apartment. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Fresh start, going to have a home office, everything like that. The home office comes with me working from fucking home. I love being at work. I am not a work from home girl. I don't enjoy it. I love human connection. I'm a creative. I'm a blah, blah. I do all the things. But with time, I've realized that I need to time block my time as a founder 2 days a week to be able to do everything. This podcast is growing. The amount of outreach for this podcast has blown my bloody socks off. It's like not even funny. So keeping up with this, working on product development, working on actually thinking ahead, working on like just doing everything I need to do. I need to work from home 2 days a week. That means that when I go to work Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm with my honeys, I'm locked in, we're doing content, we're having fun, we're in the showroom, we're selling, we're talking. I'm not just stuck on my laptop. I love when I go to work, be able to talk to the girls, ask them. I'm super collaborative. I hate just like shutting the office door. I'm actually moving out of my office. This is so me coded. We're having a bit of change. We're having some stuff, staff move around. And so exciting. We've hired a marketing manager. I can't believe those words are even coming out of my mouth. I really thought that this hire was going to be like quite a few months away. It's a hire that I've just been like so excited to do. I think I am a nurse. Kat has been a nurse. Like neither of us know about marketing. We've been able to get ourselves so far. And I feel like I'm just ready to learn. I'm ready to hire someone who knows more about it than I do, to hire someone that can teach me, to hire someone that can educate me. I'm just so ready. I had a meeting a few months ago with our accountant and our financial advisor. Shout out Isabella and Michael. If anyone needs the most incredible accountant and the most incredible financial advisor, DM me. They are my people. But I had a meeting and I was speaking about kind of where we are, and it is a funny period when you get to a level of growth where then you're kind of like, okay, what the next step has to be senior, but what does that look like? How do we do that? And then this and then that. And then what if I want to go back to New York a few times? And then it's a big conversation. I think for me, the priorities are the warehouse, production, packing, my girls being able to function Monday to Friday without me if anything happens or I'm not here. Everyone being super autonomous. And Zara said something in her podcast that I brought home, and I actually have been saying to my girlies, is that everyone is the CEO of their own role. I don't care whether you're beading jewelry. I don't care whether you're in the showroom. I don't care whether you're doing content, PR, whatever. You are the CEO of that role. And that is how serious I want everyone to take it and how much I want everyone to love it. So for me, a marketing manager, so right now, it's me, Tegan, poor Chloe, who gets pulled in 300 directions because we're like this, that, and the other. And that is it. So we are hiring an incredible woman. I actually had a bunch of applications. I went through them. I phone interviewed and in-person interviewed. And when I met this woman, who I'll introduce to you when she starts, it was just like a feeling of calmness. And I'm saying this actually, and I'm having a moment because I also had a moment of that feeling in New York. This is like an in real time brain thing. I just met her and I thought, right, I think you're the one. She is extremely skilled, extremely knowledgeable. We'll get her on the podcast, of course, don't worry. Just was really good. And I came away thinking like, I think that's just the person. I sat on it for a little bit. She was right, offered her the job. She said yes. Very, very exciting. I cannot wait. I just think she's going to go from managing a team of 10 to a team of me, Tegan, and Chloe. And it was really funny. Something I want to point out is that I want to be the person that learns. Because she asked me a question in her interview, roundabout, being like, what will the day look like? And I said, up to you. I'm hiring you for your expertise. I'm hiring you to teach me. So, you tell me what to do. And I think a lot of people would find that jarring, their boss saying that to them. But I'm like, you tell me. I have the creative ideas. I have the things that I want done. You tell me how we do it. I'll take your lead. I'll do whatever. So I'm just so excited, guys. I literally can't tell you. Second to that, we're hiring a warehouse lead in customer service queen. If you're listening to this and you want that job, apply, please. So more or less, hopefully, with time, the whole of production will be set. The whole of marketing will be set. I'll have my 2 days at working from home to do everything I've got to do. And then we're going to be able to move forward, conquer, achieve, do all the things. I'm excited. I'll have a hot desk with Nikita. Me and Nikita will share. It's exciting growing our team. It's an honor to grow our team. I think having staff is a experience I never knew would be like it is. It's one of the greatest things and the hardest things. It's something that I think of constantly every day. I beat myself up on things. I'm always like, how can we do this? And could we do this? And is that person okay? And how's that person going? And how's this going? And I'll check in here and I'll do this. And I think it's something that I'm learning to just have as a part of who I am. And I take it very seriously. So I'm so excited. That is the changes that are happening at Kaarme. We're opening the showroom. Tashi and Amy are going to really spearhead that. If you don't know who Tashi and Amy are, Tashi's been with us for, I don't even know how long now. Tashi's been with us for so long. Amy's our queen. They're going to kind of spearhead that showroom. It looks so good. I'm really, really excited. I can't wait to just meet community, meet customers. I'm just so excited. I can't tell you. Then we have Teagues. Like I said, we have Chloe. All the other queens. We've got Jade, Safi, we have literally Georgie, Kat. We've got all the queens. And I just love it so much. So that is really, really exciting for us. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. It'll be so good. Everything like that. And then overall, we are moving into that. I really want to get the business to a place where it can function without me needed daily. And to be honest, we're pretty close. We are pretty close. I do think if I was to fall off my perch tomorrow, that thing could still run. Let's go to end of financial year sale. A few things for us. This was the most organized we'd ever been for a sale. Couldn't have been more organized. Couldn't have checked things more. Me and Kat went through things with a fine-tooth comb 1,000 times. It was checked to an inch of its life. We've had a problem with every sale, blah, 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 blah. A few things. We have gone on sale for end of financial year 3 times, and every time it's been at the exact same time of the year. This year, everyone went on the same week. And that put a real spanner in the works for us because we only go that early because we're handcrafted. So it's like a 3-week, 4-week window. Everyone got their jewelry before that, but it was really crazy. I was like, oh my God, everyone is on sale. I think what that did was I felt a little bit like a fish out of water. Obviously, we had big goals. We had things we wanted to do. We got close. Like we did incredible. Like when you look at the numbers, like logically compared to last year, we did incredible. But breaking through with meta, breaking through with content, breaking through with anything when everyone's on sale is so hard. And something that I don't think people talk about enough is that your sale period is nothing. It's the 6 months before. It's all your previous acquisition. It's all your previous top of funnel. It's where you've collected all of your community, your customers for that 6 months prior. It was a tough one. We had an incredible outcome anyway. We have the most incredible community. So many new queens. We had a new product launch, our Paloma. We killed everything. It was just hard to break through. Also, we ended up using an app. So the back end of our website is really hard because we have lengths, initials, letters. It's so intricate and it might send me over the fucking edge. We're trying to work on a new website at the moment that doesn't require anything like that. It can all be like native to Shopify platform. Anyways, we ended up using this automatic discount app. It was supposed to be free. It wasn't free. Me and Kat never to know. So then we had 2 main mistakes. We had that happen. So we had to close the website in probably a peak period and manually discount everything. That was a nightmare, but also just is what it is. Like that's just like one of those things where you just got to do what you got to do. And then when our text went out, the landing page in which you got to for the text, the button that says shop now wasn't going through to the page. So with those two things together, as much as it was not the end of the world, these things happen, we just were like, oh God, you keep going. They have an effect and they would have had an ongoing effect on the outcome of that sale. I think there was about 3,000 people on the site at the time and, they can't get through to the page. They've got to go like a manual way. And I think consumer behavior on a week where every single person's on sale is if it's not easy, add to cart purchase, they fall off so fast, which is so incredibly fine. They were our two things. And I'm sharing that for transparency. I'm sharing that for honesty. And I'm sharing that because it is just fucking real. We look at Marissa last year in Lullaby Club for Black Friday. They had an app that fucked up the whole thing. They're transparent. We look at other brands that are also transparent. We need to be transparent about things that go wrong. And for us, that was what went wrong. And we could not have prepped any more. Like when I tell you, this sale was prepped to an inch of its fucking life and things still go wrong. And that's so fine. That's what's literally going to happen. But for us, they were the things that happened for us. End of financial year reflections for myself personally. Obviously, those two things, we check more next time. I still don't think you can do everything 100%, but it's timing. I don't know if I would do an end of financial year sale again, the way we do them originally. Would I do maybe a late June, early July sale? Maybe. Would I do an earlier in the year sale? Maybe. I don't know. I just think while everyone is doing the exact same thing, I always want to be doing something different. I always want to be thinking of a different idea. I always want to be thinking about going on sale different, wording a sale different. We only do 2 a year at Kaarme, so we do end of financial year and Black Friday. Outside of that, that's it. You get your sign-up discount. That's it. I think keeping it to 2 is really important for brand reputation and for consumers. But I do find that I've had a lot of thought around end of financial year and what happened and everyone going on sale. The consensus from everyone is that it was just hard. Meta is a whole different beast now. Meta is very expensive for acquisition, and I think everyone had the same opinions on it. That's my personal takeaway. Some other takeaways I want to touch on before we kind of go is that I think at the moment everyone can see business is really hard. We've just had stacks, we've just had bets, we've just had that G'd up brand. We've seen conversations around who is Elijah. even Kaarme, even some of my closest friends, business is it been a really unknown experience this year, I want to say. Because I don't want to say it's been hard because we've had immense growth, but it feels stickier. You know, if you're on Meta and you're wondering what the fuck's going on, so are we. So is every single person. I'm an EE, obviously, and I think I will say the best thing about being in a platform like EE, in a community like EE, is that you all are there together. You're all sticky together. You're all thinking like, what the fuck is going on? There's been so many changes. There's been so many bugs in Meta. There's been so many fucking issues. Like, it has been so hard. And I think now more than ever is the importance of having community or a place like EE to go to or whatever that is for you, and having diversity in what you're doing. Please, 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 please pull back your spend from Meta if you need. Hire a content person. Be showing up on social media as much as you can. Focus on EDMs, like something when we bring on this incredible queen to our marketing manager role. Clavio EDMs is going to be such a big focus. I'm going to get Simone on here in a week or two to talk about returning customers and the best things we can do in that case, and, you know, cost of acquisition versus bringing them back and how we're nurturing, and so many things that we can touch on there, which I will bring her on to do that because we've been having conversations daily about this. But please make sure you're diversifying what you're doing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't be just funneling into Meta and, you know, scaling, because if that ever dies, then you're stuck. And I just think it's a really important time. Number two, I have learned, unfortunately, for like the third time in my business, to not let anyone else do my ads. And that's been really hard because it's like it always ends up coming back to me. There always ends up being errors. There always ends up being issues with, you know, agencies and contractors and things like that. So, you know, keep your ads in-house as much as you humanly can. And what else do I have to say? I think that's it. I don't even know how long I've been recording for. I wasn't timing, of course, because it's me. But I think overall, I just wanted to do a catch-up of where I am, my brain. I turned 30 this month as well, guys. I turned 30 in July. I had my 30th party. We have a massive Black Friday event down in Sydney for EE. I'm going to podcast probably the day after me and Taryn get back. I'm taking Taryn. Taryn's one of my good friends that also helps me with a little bit of contracted marketing prior to bringing on this marketing manager. She's coming with me. We're going to do a whole podcast breaking that down for you guys, breaking down everything. Will I get in trouble? I don't really know, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to give you all the goss. We're going to do all of that. I've got incredible guests coming on. I have got so many people lined up that blows my mind. We are actually going to be growing this podcast. Like, I really want to figure out how do we bring more, keep it free? How do we do all the things? People are just really loving it and I'm loving it. One thing I want to just ask is, after this jumble mumble episode, if anyone's still here, and like, I've actually just gone completely rogue. I had 2 notes on here. I don't know who I think I am. I've got ADHD, so I hope it was enjoyable. But can everyone who's listening to this podcast, if you love it, can you please share it? Can you send it to a friend? Post it on your social media. I don't know. Post it, follow it, review it. It would just mean the absolute world. I've had so many people be like, you need to say this more in your podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I will. So that is that. I've also got something very exciting in my brain, guys, for the end of the year. And I really want it to come to life. I really want to do an event for all of the In Real Time Queens. Bring together some amazing founders to educate. I really want to see if we can get it working. I've been asked a lot about potential doing any kind of mentoring. I'm gonna figure out a few things. So just know I'm your girl. I've got you all. If you're in the DMs, I come back to you. Whatever you guys want, you let us know, or you let me know. I say us, it's just me, and then Tegan helps me. But yeah, I'm excited. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. I love doing this podcast. I love talking about business. I love brain dumping with everyone. It just is an honor. And if you're in business and it's hard, we've got you. We're all in this together. Marissa said to me yesterday, actually, if we can get through this period of business, we can do anything. And I completely agree with that. So I hope you're all killing it. If you're having a hard time, know you're not alone. It takes a lot to run a business. It takes a lot to be a founder. Emotional resilience is something that we have to learn. I've learned it the steep way and the hard way. And I hope if you're in the pits of learning that right now, know that you do get there. I remember not thinking I'd ever get to the point where I'd be able to do it. And here I am. So you've got this. I love you. Have the best day, queens. I'll see you next week. And let me know what everyone thought about this mumble jumbled episode. But